The centrepiece of this year's film festival is a retrospective of the work of director John Landis, a surprising choice perhaps in that he's neither undiscovered nor dead, but one of Hollywood's most successful commercial directors, responsible for such multi-million-dollar grossing comedies as The Blues Brothers and Trading Places. The festival's programme claims that Landis, rather than just being Hollywood's resident king of comedy, is an auteur and a socio-cultural force to boot, a claim that even Landis himself is having some trouble taking seriously.
Are you all right?
Get away! I quit school and I don't recommend it. I don't recommend this. I'm not a role model. I'm a high school dropout and I got a job at 20th Century Fox in the mailroom. It was my first industry job. And that was terribly exciting.
So from the mailroom, how did you then graduate to directing a movie of your own?
The other thing about being a filmmaker is that it's not like being a dentist or a solicitor or something where there's a prescribed method. You do this, you do this, you do this, you get a degree, you get a license.
I'm not trying to find out how I can get to be a director, I just wondered how you did it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how I did it, I got as many jobs on films as I could. And in 1971, I raised about $30,000 and put my life savings, and I made my own movie. Very bad movie called Schlock.
Which is part of the festival.
Yes,
here.
Which is deeply embarrassing. There should be a title card on that picture that says, made in 10 days by a 21-year-old for $60,000 bucks. Give me a break. Anyway, yeah.
You wrote the script to American Werewolf in London when you were, about 20, 21,
I was
didn't
18
you?
when I wrote that script, yeah.
So,
actually, it's amazing. That movie was made 12 years later. It's remarkable how much of it is exactly the same. I wanted to make a monster movie, and I decided upon a werewolf because werewolves are the monster that is totally international. Every culture, every country has a werewolf in it, from Pecos Bill to Romulus and Remus, and Wales has a tremendous amount of werewolf lore, and France, and the Indians, and I just was attracted to also the fact that it was a tragic monster. Mm-hmm. So when I decided, right, I'm going to do this movie, I thought, how do you have a guy turn into a wolf without lap dissolve? In Thriller, when I had another metamorphosis, I used every trick, every cheating, it was in the dark, I got away to this girl screaming.
So you've got that out of your system now, have you?
For the moment, yeah.
The thing about Landis is, A, he's a highly professional director. B, his films have personality, have a kind of zany, anarchic personality. When he's working for a Hollywood producer who insists on certain things, he's not so good. When he's trying to be serious, which he doesn't do very often, he's not so good. But when he is an absolute free spirit on his movies, then he's very good indeed. They flow well. They do all sorts of things that the average movie doesn't do. The Blues Brothers is a typical exception. Some people hate the movie, but it's a cult movie all over the world.
The Blues Brothers was very successful, not just financially, but in why it was made. It's a unique example of a celebrity exploiting his own fame to put a spotlight on something else. Danny Aykroyd is a real student of rhythm and blues, quite an authority on it, has a real passion for it. And the time that picture was made, the only music on the radio was white, it was disco. Danny and John created the Blues Brothers to bring back, I mean, Aretha Franklin and James Brown couldn't get a job when we made that picture. And it was a tremendous fight with the studio to get John Lee Hooker in it. And I'm thrilled to say John Lee Hooker had a hit last year with Bonnie Raitt. And on that level, the picture was totally successful. It brought attention back to this great American music.
Were you surprised when you found that the film festival was planning a retrospective of your work?
Yes. Yeah, it's really silly. I'm very flattered. I really am flattered, but I think it's silly.
Why silly?
Well, first of all, I'm not dead, which is sort of, it's kind of strange. You have a retrospective and it's like, does that mean my career is over? Oh my God. And I haven't made that many films. I've made like 14 movies. I mean, I really think it will be interesting when I have a real body of work.
It's clear that he's a major force in the cinema simply in commercial and social terms, and looking at him in a serious way, in a critical way, is a very fresh and original thing to do, and I think that's why this retrospective is valuable.
You have to understand my embarrassment, because in the United States, critically, I've always been a schmuck. I mean, the American critics really dislike me and always have. So it's, and I've always, and you know, I've been knighted by the French government and things like that. You know, I have a chevalier.
Oh, really?
So
well,
it's,
I don't see a ribbon.
Well, I don't wear it. You wear it in Paris, though, because it always
Yeah.
gets you a table.
Sure.
But so it's very strange being taken seriously.
The obvious comparisons to make are, I suppose, with Frank Capra or with Preston Sturges, though many of the admirers of those directors will probably find Landis a little bit broad for their tastes. He himself has compared Coming to America to the work of Lubitsch, for example. I don't know how far one can pursue those feelings, but it is true that he is an interesting comedy director.
Do you like to see your own films on television? Do you think they work well on television?
Some of them do. I don't like television. I grew up with television. I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase that. I'm suspicious of television. I feel it's very dangerous. It has real power and has successfully made illiterates of my country, and it scares me to death, television. Having said that, I was born in 1950 and completely I'm a child of television. Ernie Kovacs and the Pythons and, you know, and Phil Silvers and because of television I got to see a great deal of the old movies. So television's very powerful. I think that's why Thatcher is so anxious to control it. You know, it really is a powerful thing. Much more powerful than a cinema where you have to go and pay money and go somewhere to see it.